how did this all start? Um, we wanted to do a little section on the history of this movement, um, because it's actually quite extraordinary how fast things have happened and how this actually got started. And it's kind of a mystery to me, even though I've been there from the beginning. Um, so about 5 years ago, or even a little bit longer, I was doing something, and all of a sudden I kind of heard this voice, and it said, "You should start a women's group." And I was like, "No, I don't want to start a women's group. Why would I want to start a women's group?" Because I was kind of to the point, I preferred hanging out with men more than I actually preferred hanging out with women. So kind of the last thing I wanted to do was start a women's group. But then I thought, no, that's what I heard, so that's what I'm going to do. So we started the group. We started off with 10 women, and they were all foreigners. And it was a bit of a rocky road. But from the very first moment that we got together, what I found extraordinary, and I'll never forget it, is there was a level of trust between us. And there was a passion, and there was an interest. And as we went through this together, a lot happened, and a lot of people were challenged. Some people dropped out, some people came, joined the group. And it kind of went through this metamorphosis, it was just constantly changing. And I was evolving as I was going through it. Women were evolving as they were going through it. For some women, it was the best thing for them not to be involved. Other women, they wanted to stay. And then what happened is there were a couple women in that group that kind of pushed me to say, "Hey, what you're doing and what you're talking about is really important, and I want you to take it out." And so I said, "Okay." And we did the first one day women's retreat. We started off doing some talks, and I say we because Laura was with me through this whole kind of process. And we started to do some talks in Porto, and then we did a one-day women's retreat. And I think that's where something really happened. And then from there, we started groups. And so that's where the Coimbra group started, which includes women from Lisbon, and that's when the Porto group started. And it really came from the passion of the women. It was like in every single event, it was almost like one woman said, "Come on, let's get something going, let's get something going." And it's like, okay, let's get something going, but what is it that we're going to get going? And so it's just been this organic process, been completely fascinating. What I found in this is the evolution of all the women that are in the groups. Their evolution, my evolution, and the evolution of everything kind of, it grows together, and we've all evolved together, and we're continuing to evolve together, and now here we are, and there's 40 women involved, and there's more people that want to get involved, but we're all having to step up, we're all having to evolve, we're all having to develop, we're all having to let go more and more. We're reaching out, and we're trying to create something. And there is a sense of control that we have to take, but it's not control of being afraid. So as we've moved with each other and we've evolved over time, the trust, the transparency, it just continues to evolve. The commitment, the seriousness. I just find it unbelievable where we started, where we are now. And it gives me just a sense, it's like a blank slate of like, oh my God, where can we go from here? Because there really is no limitation. As long as people come together and they're interested in doing something bigger and doing something more than they're already doing. So